Welcome back to Operation Evil. I'm your host, Nyoka,
And I am your co-host, Megan.
and this will be episode number 125, and this is Megan's episode, and you can go ahead and take it away.
All right. It's April Child Abuse Prevention Month. So I figured I would start with a case from Arkansas. When I first saw this back in February,
Wait a second, we both covered Arkansas.
we did. You're
Wow.
right. We did.
I'm sorry, I was just like, wow,
I
out of
didn't
all
even realize
places.
that. Yeah.
All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And the only reason why I covered Arkansas is because it hit my Facebook. So I don't social media much. I'm not really even on the Operation social media much. Uh, I'm not on mine. I mean, I post pictures of my kid and that's about it. But now I'm rethinking that too, by the way. So this is a good episode to talk about the dangers of the internet and everything else. But the reason why this caught my attention is because when I was working in the forensics field, when we would do search warrants, we would have to be specific about what was in the warrant. And because I've been out of the field for, I don't know, since what, 2014, 13, 14, around there, the advancement in technology changes by day. And so if we were to go into a home and look for a video camera and the video, we would have to specify what type of camera, what type of video, and so on
Seriously?
that you were looking. Yeah, you had to be specific on what you were looking for. You couldn't just say any and all tapes. You can't do that.
Ah,
Yeah. So now my question to myself is how do you do the cell phone? How do you properly put in a search warrant that you need every SD card now? Like how does that work? So,
yeah.
I mean, there's so many different forms. Before it was floppy disks. And that's how old I am. I guess I'm showing my age. We had floppy disks and CDs.
Yes.
So that's what we had. But yeah, so these things, everything has changed. So with that being said, I saw this, it came across my Facebook because Facebook's got that algorithm and it pops up all the true crime stuff all the time. And the thing that caught my eye was 32,000. That number sat in my heart when I have a 7-year-old, and I thought to myself, 32,000 images of child pornography. So that's what caught my attention on this case. Now, with that being said, I thought there would be a lot more information to this case, but there's not. There hasn't been a follow-up that I found or anything like that. Trust me, I'm looking.
Is it
I
because they're minors, maybe? That's why it's
that,
difficult?
but I want to know what happened to him. And it's
Yeah.
not saying because this is
The
just about his
predator.
arrest. Yes.
Mm,
I want to know when his arraignment date is. I want to know more, and I don't have that. So
right.
just going into this knowing, I'm going to bring up some facts about this case, but really it's the segue into internet safety. It's the segue into how to report child abuse, things like that. So we're going to get into a little bit more depth here, but hang on.
Okay.
Um, so this episode will segue into speaking also to Child Protective Services. At one point in time, I'm going to ask one of my friends who worked in the cabinet to speak with us as well about her experience dealing with this type of thing as well. So we'll roll into that too, just not this episode. So first, let's discuss a Batesville, Arkansas man who is facing child pornography charges after police said they found 32,000 pornographic images and videos on his cell phone. A judge found probable cause Monday, February 3rd, to arrest 36-year-old Nathaniel Lloyd Nurdin on 4 counts of distributing, possessing, or viewing matter depicting sexually explicit conduct involving a child.
Disgusting.
According to the affidavit, the Arkansas State Police Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force received a cyber tip about suspected child sexual abuse material uploaded to an email address on a server on October 9th, 2024. The Arkansas State Police contacted Lieutenant Zach Rollins with the Independence County Sheriff's Office about the tip. Rollins then contacted Brenda Biddle, who was an investigator with the Batesville Police Department, on January 6th after determining the suspect lived within city limits. quote, a search was done on the email address for a possible owner, and it came back to Nathaniel Nurdin, end quote. Biddle had said adding a deep dive on the email revealed a possible phone name and address for Nurdin. On January 9th, Biddle and Batesville police served a search warrant on Nurdin's College Street apartment. After reading his Miranda rights, Nurdin agreed to speak with Biddle. Nurdin said Dropbox had contacted him, quote, about some porn, end quote. Quote, he then went on to say that he had been paying for some porn, but that they were sending him porn that he was not asking for, end quote. He reportedly told Biddle that he, quote, got rid of his account, but he had been getting porn from Pornhub, end quote. During the search warrant, officers seized several electronics, including Nurdin's cell phone. Quote, after the phone was downloaded, there were 32,157 images and 1,743 videos that were 90% porn. The porn was adult porn, animal porn, and child porn, end quote. And that came from Biddle. Police arrested Nurdin on Tuesday, February 4th, and booked him into the Independence County Jail to await a February 11th court date. For the life of me, I cannot find an update, like I already told you. So why did I choose this case with no other information? Because let's discuss child sex offenders. Let's discuss statistics. So according to www.safehome.org, between 2019 and 2024, the number of registered sex offenders in the U.S. rose by nearly 43,000. Unfortunately, in 2024, the total number of registered sex offenders approached 800,000 nationwide, and the population adjusted rate of registrants increased by about 2%. On a population adjusted basis, Oregon, Arkansas, which is where this guy's from, and Alaska had the highest rates of convicted sex offenders in the nation. Texas has the highest total number of registered sex offenders, over 75,000, accounting for nearly 10% of all registered sex offenders nationally. California had the second highest number of total registrants at around 60,600. Only Arkansas ranked in the 10 worst states in 3 categories. That's child abuse, rape, and registered sex offenders. Again, note that this case is in the state of Arkansas. So keep in mind that the state stats differ because of many factors, and that's stricter laws or different types of enforcement, the way the definitions are, things like that. So now this individual has not been convicted of charges at this point and has not been placed on a registry. However, I think it is important to note that you can check where you live. If you haven't checked, if you have kids and you have not checked, I don't even care if you don't have kids, because this will also tell you if sex offenders are in your area, that if you're jogging by yourself.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's familywatchdog.us. And you can plug in your address and you can see everybody that lives around you, what they were charged with. Now, it won't show you if they've been, I should say, convicted. They won't show you if they've been convicted in states outside of your state, because they just don't have the record of it. But you know by the color, I think it's yellow and red and green, maybe. I can't remember the colors that they chose to do their legend, but of course you can see like what it has to do with. And it'll tell you, under the age of 7, under the age of 14, under the, whatever it is, however the law is written in your state, it'll tell you that in the description.
Is that the one that gives their picture too? Yes,
it also gives their picture. It gives their mugshot. Sometimes they won't have the pictures though, just depending on the conviction and like what is actually uploaded in there. But, most of the time you're going to see their mugshot. You're going to see what they're in for. And of course, they got to register for life. So that's, it's all in there, but it will tell you. And of course they can't live so close to schools and things like that. So that, is another factor as well. But I know this month in particular on Facebook, like I said, all I get on my Facebook is true crime, snowboarding, and firearms. So that's all that comes up. And most of the things that are true crime is all child abuse and child pornography and things like that because of the month. This is the prevention month. So those things are highlighted this month. Where was I going with that though? I was going to say something about.
I think people would be really surprised to see how many offenders live in their neighborhood and they have no idea.
This also includes too those that have been convicted, and I'm not saying this is okay by any means, but I know someone in Ludlow, and I think Nyoka, you know somebody in Ludlow as well, that was charged at age 18, and it was a 16-year-old, and the parents got mad.
Yeah.
And I mean, that could definitely happen, and it has happened.
Yes.
So they're not all,
they're not child molesters.
Correct. And I shouldn't say that. I mean, yes, it happened. 18 and 16 shouldn't happen. I get that. And that was because the way the law was written, they couldn't even have a relationship. So again, that is in there as well, but you're not going to know that when you read it. You just see he's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So, but yes, this will show you everything. This will show you rape. This will show you sodomy. This will show everything, in there that for whatever the reason that they're registered. What was I going to say? Oh, so one of the things I noticed this month is that a lot of people are alerting people that these individuals who are on the registry are actually at parks watching kids. I mean, nothing says that this guy can't walk out of his house and go down to the park. Law states he can't, but we all know that, people drive without a license all the time and things like that. So this happens. So when you're at the park, don't just let your kid roam. When I have my daughter at the park, I have my eyes on her all the time, and she knows stays close to me. She stays within my eye shot, whatever. So just throwing that out there, it does happen. And now where we live, and it's the hub of human trafficking and things like that, because we live so close to 75 and 71, the interstate, that they'll just come off our exit and nab whatever and go. So that's another thing you got to worry about too. And anywhere you are, I don't care if you're next to 71, 75 or not, pay attention. When you're out jogging, don't jog with your earphones in. Make sure that you're cognizant of what's going on around you. We've talked about it before with the self-defense tools, damsel in defense. Connie was on our podcast stating all of these different tools that she has to keep you safe. A Kubotan, my cousin, she runs with the Kubotan. She runs with, I think, the alarm system or something. She has something else too, but she's always has something on her all the time for protection.
And put a tracker on your kid too if they have a watch or a phone or something. If that has that option, definitely do that. Or throw an air tag or whatever in their book bag or their shoe. Yeah, that's a good idea. Shoe.
You can sew it right into the tongue of the shoe. Yeah. My dog has one on his collar, and they're waterproof. It's fantastic. It'll tell you when it's low on battery. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. So yeah, there's many things that you can do. Anyways, my 7-year-old has a watch, an Apple Watch, and that's because, that's the other thing. They have all these gadgets for kids. That's great. You can track your kid. But what the kid can't do on these gadgets, I forgot what the one was, Gizmo, the Gizmo watch. Don't buy it. Reason being is because the kid cannot call 911.
What
good is that? Yes. It can only call 10-digit numbers and up to 10 people, up to 10 contacts, which sounds like a lot, which fine, so be it is. But, when I bought it, I said, can she call 911 if she needs to, because we have our neighbor, she comes over and, she's not in the best medical condition and, anything can happen at any time. And I want my child to be able to call. And it's happened before where there's been an accident out on our corner and the babysitter ran out and told my daughter to call 911 at the time she was 6, totally capable of calling 911. And she couldn't get into the phone. She can get into my phone, but she can't get into the babysitter's phone. So she couldn't get in. So here she is stuck. And I was like, that's never happening again. And the Gizmo does nothing. So she can call me and I can call 911 for her. That's bullshit. Sorry. Does not fly with me. So yes, I paid $500 for her to have an Apple Watch that tracks her location. I can have my brother on there to track her. I can have anyone I want on there and they can track her location. So if something happens to me, they can get to her. and everyone's like, I can't believe that you're spending this money. Well, just a share line is $10. So yes, you're paying for it, but I don't want her to have a phone either. She's going to lose it. So there's ways to be smart, that's kind of
This
what
gives you peace of mind too.
Yes.
And that's priceless.
Yes. And she can speak to it. She can't really, well, now she can read, but when she was 5 and 6, she couldn't read. So she could just speak into it, and command the watch to do whatever she wanted to. She doesn't have access to the internet on it, so I don't have to worry about any of that stuff or predators or anything like that on there. So yeah. Just be smart. Anyways, I'm going to keep going off my soapbox. As for child sexual abuse, according to the Internet Watch Foundation, this is a UK-based organization that aims to rid such abusive content. They, in 2022, said that the US now hosts more child sexual abuse material online, and URLs, right? You all know what a URL is.
Mm-hmm.
URLs than any other country in the world. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, in 2025, United States federal law defines child pornography as any visual depiction of sexually explicit conduct involving a minor, which is a person less than 18 years old. They also further define these images as child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but again, this is after my time, but it's child sexual abuse material is what it's known as. To most accurately reflect what is depicted, the sexual abuse and exploitation of children. So think about this too. When these files are shared across the internet, child victims suffer re-victimization each time the image of their sexual abuse is viewed. So this organization has both the cyber tip line and electronic service provider reporting, as well as child victim identification program, which began in 2002, and more than 19,100 children have been identified. So literally they have people that sit behind here and just identify the kids, and as these kids come across, they flag them, wow, until they can figure out their ID. They literally track children victims with law enforcement. That's what they do. That's their sole purpose. There is a plethora of information on this organization on their website, to include success stories, to include recent studies, to include education, and so on. So I definitely highly suggest you get on National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children on their site and dig around on there.
Yeah, they do great things.
They do wonderful things. For Kentucky, the Kentucky State Police has arrested 309 online predators since 2019.
Oh, I didn't
for child
know that.
Pornography. Yeah.
Wow.
Child sex trafficking, child exploitation. KSP has an electronic crimes branch that receives over 1,000 tips per month. Per month. And wow, they partner with Prevent Child Abuse Kentucky, which is PSAC, I think, PCAK. So yeah, we definitely do something. And then today, this is not in my notes, but I will put it in your email. And of course, it just disappeared on me, so bear with me. From the Boone County Sheriff's Office of Kentucky, they posted internet safety, and they have a PDF. And I just want to go over a few things on here. So what they talk about in their presentation is that our goal here is to assist you, and we plan to focus on applications, internet use, parental controls, what you as a parent should be looking for, such as grooming or mental health effects, multiple case studies, and at the end there's a Q&A. And I don't know if they posted the Q&A, but I'll look. They said apps to look out for. Now, I am not social media cool at all. I have Facebook. I've had people hack into my Facebook before. I've had people hack into my Facebook and post pictures. I've had a lot of things happen with just my Facebook alone. I can't imagine having Instagram and all that other stuff. I don't have Snapchat. I do not have TikTok. But those are actually listed on here. So Kik is another one. There's Snapchat. There's TikTok. There's things on here that I don't even recognize, but I'll go over in a minute. 15 apps parents should know about. You have Meet Me, which is a dating social media app that allows users to connect with people based on geographic proximity. That's not good. It's never good when people know where you are.
No.
As the app's name suggests, users are encouraged to meet each other in person. You have the WhatsApp, and this is a popular messaging app that allows users to send text, photos, make calls, and video chats worldwide. The WhatsApp uses an internet connection on smartphones and computers. You have Bumble, which I've used Bumble. Bumble is similar to the popular dating app Tinder. However, it requires women to make the first contact. Kids have been known to use Bumble to create fake accounts and falsify their age.
Parents, put restrictions on your children's phones too.
Yes, yes. I think it's either Live Me or Live Me, I don't know, is a streaming video app that uses geolocation to share videos so users can find out a broadcaster's exact location. Users can earn coins as a way to pay minors for photos. Ask.fm is known for cyberbullying. The app encourages users to allow anonymous people to ask them questions. You have Grindr. It's a dating app geared towards gay, bi, and transgender people. The app gives users options to chat, share photos, and meet up based on a smartphone's GPS location. You have TikTok. It's a new mobile device app popular with kids, used for creating and sharing short videos with very limited privacy controls. Users are vulnerable to bullying and explicit content. You have Snapchat. It's one of the most popular apps in recent years. While the app promises users can take a photo, video, and it will disappear. New features, including stories, allow users to view content for up to 24 hours. You have Ola. It's a self-proclaimed addicting video chat. Or is it Hala? I don't know. Whatever. Users to meet people all over the world in just seconds. Reviewers say they have been confronted with racial slurs, explicit content, and more. You have apps that look like other things in a phone too. So like when you look at it, it actually looks like the calculator, but it's not. This is called Calculator Percent. Is one of several secret apps used to hide photos, videos, files, and browser history. You have the Scout. Is a location-based dating app and website. While users under 17 years old are unable to share private photos, kids can easily create an account using a different age. Badoo is a dating and social networking app where users can chat, share photos and videos, and connect based on location. While the app is intended for adults only, teens are known to create profiles. You have Kik. It allows anyone to contact and direct message your child. Kids can bypass traditional text messaging features. Kik gives users unlimited access to anyone, anywhere, anytime. Whisper is an anonymous social network that promotes sharing secrets with strangers. It also reveals a user's location so people can meet. Hot or Not encourages users to rate your profile, check out people in their area, and chat with strangers. The goal of this app is to hook up. So there's some. And then it goes on to saying navigating the list of apps. So basically, if you're a parent, it shows what the actual app looks like. So it talks about Zoosk and Tumblr and Tinder, Plenty of Fish. Some of the ones I've already named. Hoop is another one. I don't know that one. Apparently, those are all the dating apps. You have gaming apps such as Roblox, Minecraft, Wildcraft, and Xbox Live. And of course, this is all just to highlight interactions with strangers. Then you have different chat apps, which I didn't know that these are all kid-focused, but for kids, it can be dangerous due to risks like exposure to inappropriate content and interactions with strangers who may have harmful intentions. There's the Yik Yak, never heard of it. Monkey. There's Discord, never heard of it. And of course, Facebook. And then there's secret apps. Those are the ones, like I said, looks just like your calculator feature. There's one that says best secret folder, and it has like a mic and some games and things and a little lock on it. Like if I saw these on Lucy's phone, I wouldn't think anything of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But they're secret apps. So again, it can involve risky behavior. You definitely want to have parental oversight. Risky apps for kids and adults. I basically named everything, but they also talk about like Google, Chrome, Gmail. They talk about YouTube Music. You just got to watch what your kids are looking at. But again, it can open up the door to some really bad things. Grooming, they talk about grooming and they talk about their cases. They talked about a case that was specific to a 33-year-old male and a 12-year-old female. And they talked about a 26-year-old male and a 14-year-old female. They talked about sextortion, which is a form of child sexual exploitation where children are threatened or blackmailed, most often with the possibility of sharing with the public nude or sexual images of them by a person who demands additional sexual content, sexual activity, or money from the child. That was just in the news, by the way.
I was going to say, I've heard of this.
Yeah, that was just in the news. There was a kid that was on some app and somebody tried to do that to him. Victim often knows the offender and they use coercive tactics and threats. Let's see what else. This looks like something that they had written for them specifically. What is the difference between a car and an app or a cell phone and tablet? What is artificial intelligence? That's the other thing. You've got artificial intelligence coming out. I'm actually on the artificial intelligence work group with work, and we're trying to figure out ways to help advance our effectiveness in our business. But I can see how AI is just crazy. They have AI child pornography as well. So it's the kids, but it's people generating images of the kids naked and things like, it's just crazy what AI can do. It opens up a whole new door for investigators, in my opinion. Like, I don't know how that's going to be investigated, but I know now as a college professor, we were just told that if a student turns in anything using AI, there's really nothing we can do about it. We just need to make sure that they're not plagiarizing somebody else's work.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you're basically telling me it's okay for them to just create whatever they want with AI and turn it in as their own. It seems to me like AI is well advancing over the human at this point in time. So again, just be careful. This one was about a case study that they had, and you can look through it, but it says a 9-year-old was live streaming nude video of herself, and this was on a Line app, but I guess that's geared towards kids as well. Shows the location and everything. And then it says some questions to think about is, what do apps collect and have access to? Literally everything.
Yeah.
What is artificial intelligence? We already talked about that. What's the difference between a car and a cell phone? What did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? What? I don't know. It's their thing. And then how can you protect your kids? So know about the risks. And they talk about sexting and cyberbullying and sharing too much. They talk about online predators. So things that you can do, you can establish rules, have curfews, screen time, no devices during meals. I know with my daughter, I restrict her. She can only watch Disney and things like that on her tablet. I monitor it as much as I can. Amazon Kids had parental features. However, there was a lot of times when it would lock me out, and then we just got frustrated. So I got rid of Amazon Kids. Like I said, I'm not tech savvy. But engage with the kids, get involved with them, chat with them, make sure that they know etiquette as well. There's a chat IRL where you can talk to them in real life. And then don't take it, limit access versus removing it completely. Because again, everything is done with technology these days. They talk about safe devices for preteens, such as, like I told you about, the Gizmo Watch, the Bark Watch, the Gab Watch, and then safer devices for teens is the Bark phone, the Gab phone, and a flip phone. And then they talk about what like Bark has and what type of parental applications they have, like game blocking and screen time. You can actually set it. But the most of all, it's to be involved and know what they are doing. And that's what it talks about the most. They do talk about the unlawful use of electronic means to induce a minor to engage in sexual activities. So they actually go through the law and the KRS that's involved. If you don't know what KRS is, it's a Kentucky Revised Statute. So it talks about the law. Now, in different states, they're going to have different laws, and it's going to be about the same, but it might be written just a little bit differently. Possession of matter portraying a sexual performance by a minor. And then they talk about police social workers. And again, I really want to get my friend on here to talk about her work when she worked for the Child Protective Services. And we'll talk a little bit to her about that another episode. They talk about the negative effects of technology on children. They talk about dopamine. And if you don't know what dopamine is, it's a chemical that is generated in your body. It gives you that sense of happiness. So think about when you listen to music, that's exactly what they're talking about. And dopamine, the quickest high, is scrolling on social media. It's also a downer as well. So, you got to be careful with how much screen time you actually do have. I set mine for 15 minutes. So when I wake up in the morning, you're not supposed to do this, but I always check my email first because I check to see if, maybe work is closed for the day for whatever reason. I still think that's going to happen. It's never even happened, but I still check.
Well, the one time you don't,
I know. I'm going to go in and the thing's burning down. I'm like, shit, I didn't get that email. But yeah. So it's instant gratification. They talk about that. They talk about the social media effects on teens, of course, bullying and things like that. So it's a great presentation. I wish we could hear it live. I don't think they have that on here, but again, we'll leave it in the show notes. But it's great because it shows the pictures of the apps. And like I said, I am not tech savvy, but there's definitely, there's a lot of information packed in here. And if, we could just prevent one thing from happening, or if you know something, or if somebody comes to you and it just doesn't feel right what they're telling you, go and tell somebody. Like I said, the KSP said, 1,000 tips per month. I'd rather it be out there and you just think, hey, I think something weird's going on, or this guy's at the park. Call 911. This guy's acting funny at the park, or a lady. It doesn't need to be a man. Whatever. But again, that's what this month is all about, is child abuse prevention. Learn what your jurisdiction has in place, so then that way you can call in tips if you ever need to. Call in the creepy dude standing by the park or at the pool or whatever. Just call it in. So yeah, that's all I have.
TikTok, this woman keeps coming up on my TikTok. She is a teacher in probably her late 20s, and she was having a sexual relationship with one of her 15-year-old students and was getting arrested.
Well, one was just actually charged today.
I wonder if it's the same one, because this woman keeps popping up in my
It might be because, yes, and it might be because she was just she wasn't charged. She pled guilty.
Oh.
To the charges.
And she's really young and pretty and married, yes. And it's probably the same person.
It might be. But yes, we have a lot coming on this, and I don't know if the rest is going to be a Patreon or how we're going to do it, but it's definitely coming, and it might even move into May. There's just so much information. Which is likely,
yeah.
There's so much information. So we'll cover a lot coming up, but I figured this was a good segue into the things that are coming.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think this theme is going to continue into May for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening. That was very good information to put out there. We didn't have to worry about this stuff when we were younger, and these kids do, and they need to be made aware of it. So I hopefully people are telling them these things, and no matter how scary it may seem, even as a teenager, if someone's threatening to expose you or your picture of you because they somehow groomed you, just don't fall for it. Go to your parents. Don't hurt yourself. Cute. Don't do.
It's not cool.
Yeah.
And don't be that parent that's like, oh, it'll never happen to my kid. My kid's too smart for that. No.
Right.
No, don't believe that.
No.
They can get tricked. I think in one of the previous episodes, we were talking about being followed and the lady jumped in the car with the two girls.
Yes.
No, we're not doing this anymore. It can happen to anybody.
No. Yeah. And a lot of times they'll pretend to be someone your age and they're not. So that's another way that they'll get you too. But
you're right.
Yeah. So if you guys want more episodes, just hop over into our Patreon, and we have a whole bunch more there that you can listen to. And I'm sure our Patreon's going to be part of this theme month too, just to keep the awareness going. And other than that, we thank you all for listening as always. Goodbye.
Yes, thank you. Goodbye.